that. Lisa Collins is a writer, syndicated columnist, and publisher of the Gospel Music Industry Roundup. It's an annual collection of gospel resource listings. Thank you for being a guest here on Making It. Good to have you with us, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get right to it. How is the growth of the Internet changing the publishing business?
Well, I think it gives your publication a greater presence. It certainly gives more people access to it, and it gives you the ability to transfer information more easily and get information easily.
If you were going to give somebody a roadmap who wanted to start a new publishing business, what kind of guidelines would you give them, you think?
The first thing and the most important thing is to establish a need or a niche, because without that, you're not going to be any different than anybody else out there. Second thing is determine how you're going to do it, what the revenue streams are, if the revenue streams will support it, and then can you really do it? A lot of people don't really ask that question, can you do it? Not can it be done, but can you do it? And then it's getting the resources to do it.
So you can't just wake up one morning with a great idea, go out there and launch it. You got to do some research.
You got to do some research, and you got to really be realistic on whether or not it can be done by you.
And if it can't be done, your research indicates, then you have to let go of that dream.
Well, or you have to refine it to where it's something that you can do, or some portion of it you can do. But you have to be realistic with yourself and say, what will it take? Can I do it? And how? How? It's very important to come up with a game plan.
Does the average person have that kind of expertise?
It depends on what I think you're most comfortable. I mean, you go into publishing like I did. You go into areas that are areas that you're interested in. And I think if you're interested, if you have a love for something, then yeah,
okay.
You can do it.
Now, you produce a monthly publication and an annual resource book. Talk to us about the different processes you use in putting those two together.
Well, I think certainly with the annual book, it's much easier. There's less interaction with employees, so it's kind of you're on your own. It's like writing a book. There still is a great deal of resource listings you have to check and recheck and double check, but you don't have to manage as much, so you don't have to deal with the real business kind of environment. So in that
is that a good thing?
Oh yeah,
okay.
That's a very good thing. When you deal with a monthly publication, you are really running a business.
Okay.
And you're really getting, there is a creative side, there's a business side, and never the twine shall meet sometimes. You have to deal with money, advertisers, and it's certainly a great deal more work.
Okay. Now I know that your revenue stream is based on advertisers. What is the key to convince people to buy space?
My need and their need.
No. Okay. A mutual need.
Yeah, it's mutual needs and determining that you have something that they really need, an audience that they want to reach. And once you have that audience and you can convince them that you have that audience, then it's a mutually beneficial relationship.
Is it result-based?
Absolutely.
How do you measure the result?
Absolutely. I think that like any, if a business wanting to advertise wants to know that their foot traffic was increased by having an ad in your publication, certainly if you're dealing with the bigger companies like a McDonald's or something, they don't have, well, sometimes they'll put coupons in, but sometimes it's making their presence known in the community that you serve.
So they have various devices for measuring the result.
And various means.
Lisa, what is you say is the most important thing that determines whether someone subscribes or picks up your publication? What's the most important thing, if you can name the one most important thing?
The cover.
Okay.
The cover, making it interesting enough to grab somebody's attention. And certainly we go back and forth on what to put on the cover to do that.
What are some of the obstacles in putting together a publication? Things like lawsuits, financing, those kind of things?
Financing is the biggest obstacle for most entrepreneurs. I looked at some of the profiles of the entrepreneurs you had on today, and I know that I went through a lot of what they went through. And a lot of times, I know if somebody would have told me all it would have taken to start a publication, I probably wouldn't have. But like they did, I just jumped right in, and you kind of make ends meet. And half the time, it's flying by the seat of your,
seat of your pants, and those pants better be creative. How do you keep it fresh and new from issue to issue?
I think, once again, that's where the love comes in. You have to have a love for it. So if you have an inherent interest in for the paper, for example, I'm interested in what goes on in the community. I live in the community. I serve the community. So that keeps it fresh. My wanting to know. The same thing with gospel. I work in that industry. So I kind of know where there's a need or where there's some kind of, where I can fill
your own personal sensitivity.
Sure.
Thank you, Lisa. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us today. We'll tell you how you can get in touch with Lisa Collins right after this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.